Welcome back to the Fantasy Hockey Podcast, The Weekend. Yes, 10 takes, lots of stuff to talk about this week. A lot has happened, a lot of headshots, a lot of tapping the nuts, a lot of little things to talk about. There's a lot of fun things to go over. It's not every week that we get to go over many fun things, but this is one of those weeks where there's a lot of fun things to talk about. How is quarantine treating you? It's been a while. You know that we just about hit a year in?
Yeah. I think right around now, no, it was a couple weeks later, was when I left the city for Nashville for the first lockdown.
Yeah.
Not Nashville, for New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Yeah, I'm watching the games on the side, but and it's weird. Although NYU Langone just reached out to my wife and said that she can get a vaccine. So
oh wow, that's
actually
amazing.
Not entirely sure why, but apparently I'm not allowed to. So halfway there, but
good. You don't
tomorrow.
You shouldn't get. We're not trying to protect you.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. We should protect you at all costs.
At least
all
she gets to go out and like not worry about it if she eats at a inside or something. Nice change of pace, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be nice. It's crazy. I remember when we pretty much had to shut down the podcast because
that was also
going
like
on.
a couple weeks from now.
Yeah, which was
year.
really wild. I remember us like trying to think, what are we gonna do, and then like, when do we release an episode? When is it gonna restart? And having no idea when anything was gonna happen. But you know what? The good thing is that here we are. Here we are having an episode.
As
Feels
we
good.
do.
It's nice to look back and remember. I know, as we do. It just feels nice to go back and remember where we were at and be like, well, here we are, 7 weeks into the season, our regular season, not that, bubble playoffs. And it's actually still going on, which is just
Somehow
cool to
despite
look
all
back
odds.
on. Yep. So let's start off first. My first take is a funny one. I don't know if you saw this. So the Pittsburgh Penguins put a photo out of fans in the arena yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before. We're recording this Thursday night. And they photoshopped masks onto people. Like, there were these people who didn't have their masks on properly, so they photoshopped them. Terrible Photoshop, by the way. Put it like up over their noses, and they clearly cropped out the two people that didn't have masks. And like, it was just a whole thing, and everyone caught on to the fact that it was a Photoshop. And so I don't know what's worse, photoshopping it or just posting it. I feel like the solution is just don't post it.
I don't know, man. Like, they're not beholden to. Well, I guess they do want to show that like it's safe to go to a game or whatever, but
Yeah.
that's funny. Of course, I get called on it.
It was.
How would they not?
It was hilarious. The first tweet was someone like screenshotting the mask and being like, hey, can you guys at least do a better Photoshop? It was so great.
My first bit here is talk about Blichfeld's first suspension as a rookie, I guess. First for everything. His is a first suspension for a headshot on Nathan MacKinnon. I mean, there's not really a lot to say. I think like a suspension was deserved. It was a high hit. Yep. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt that he like wasn't intending to injure there, but it was clearly not a good hit.
I think most of the time players aren't intending to injure.
Yeah.
But it's on you as a player not to launch yourself into dangerous hits.
Yeah. But it was pretty avoidable, and he didn't do anything to avoid the hit. So there you go. But MacKinnon is now kind of. I assume by the time people hear this, they'll know what's going on. But there has not been an update on him yet, which is a little concerning.
But
Yeah,
just a bit.
Because you always, whenever you see something like that, your first thought is, oh, that's a concussion, maybe, could be.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see. I mean, that feels like the only. I'm guessing here that he plays in their next game, but we'll see.
Yeah. That'd be my guess too, but we'll see. I mean, usually I feel like when they're okay, they're ruled out a lot quicker than what's been going on here so far. So it is a little bit concerning.
Yeah.
My third take. So Patrick Kane is still really good.
Yeah.
I feel like he's just flying under the radar this year. No one's really paying attention. It's almost like we're just used to Patrick Kane doing these things. Mm-hmm. Night after night, he's putting up insane numbers. He's completely carrying this team.
Well, him and
I just
Lankinen.
had to give him a shout out. And Lankin too, but I mean on offense.
Yeah.
It's all Patty Kane. Aside from obviously you have DeBrincat doing things, you have other players doing things.
Kubalik.
But,
Yeah.
like Kubalik doing things, of course. But, I mean, Patrick Kane, oh my gosh, and you watch him and he's still so good. Hit 400 goals the other day. I mean, yeah, it's just impressive to watch. And I do feel like he's gone under the radar, especially when you consider where Patrick Kane talk was at the beginning of the season. When the season started, I didn't keep him. Stupidly, I kept his Zibanejad over him. Now I feel like an idiot, but hindsight is 20/20.
I feel like I told you to keep him for what it's worth.
No, you definitely
I definitely did, but I think it was over a goalie or something.
Yeah. And so a lot of people weren't keeping him. A lot of people thought that he was going too high as well in drafts. He definitely proved a lot of people wrong and showed people, you know what? He is still Patty Kane.
Yeah, he definitely did. My next one here is I want to make sure I get... Actually, I'm looking up something for later, so forget it. I'll figure it out. I'll mute my mic and make sure that I get the numbers right for my final take just later on. But
okay,
I will pose this to you. What are you thinking about these Jack Eichel to the Ranger rumors?
I think that anytime you can get a sure thing, you should. I feel like almost always, with some exceptions, I think that normally the side that gets the superstar that is a superstar now tends to win the trade. Normally. I feel like normally you can't there's a certain limit to what you can ask, right? Like, say that Eichel wants out. If Eichel wants out, they have to move him, which means that the price is capped, Like, you have to give him up for something at some point. And so I feel like normally the team that's giving something up tends to win in a situation like that. I've heard rumors of Kakko being involved and Zibanejad. I would love to send... I would be okay with sending Zibanejad. Eichel is younger. He's, in my opinion, proven by this point. It'd be great to have him because he's younger, for one. Yep. Kakko is a tough one. Kakko's a really tough one. But I think at the end of the day, you take the center.
Yeah, especially for the Rangers who... I mean, as good as Ryan Strom's been, he can play wing. But also, he's maybe he is a second line center at this point. I don't know. Maybe I'm not giving him enough credit, but he spent most of his career not being good enough to be a second line center. But
that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm excited about it. I hope it happens. I just don't want to overpay.
Yeah,
I do think we have the pieces to make it happen. I think the big question mark, and it's something that perhaps is it's a question more than anything for the front office, is what are their plans? What are they thinking moving forward? That's the big thing. I think that the reason more than anything is that if Zibanejad is included in that, I'd be okay with it also, because Zibanejad is going to require a big contract. And if he keeps playing like he is right now, I don't want to give him that contract.
Yep.
I don't even know if the Sabres will really want to give him that contract. Maybe they will, because they like giving out bad contracts. But if I'm the Rangers, I don't want to give Zibanejad that contract. So that's a big reason, I think, as well, if the Rangers might be incentivized to move Zibanejad and get Eichel.
It is interesting that we're like, I feel like it's not common to see a major blockbuster trade in the same division as well, which makes me think. I assume these are rumors first and foremost, if for nothing else than that reason. But who knows? I mean, it feels like the Rangers is always a destination that players would like to be.
It does feel like there's smoke there. I mean, this isn't the first time we've heard these rumors come up, and there actually was an article in The Athletic the other day where an executive was asked kind of what he thinks, and he said, not direct quote, I don't remember the direct quote, but it was along the lines of, Eichel will be a Ranger, the question is when, essentially. He believes that Eichel will be a Ranger. It's just a matter of when, pretty much. Like, will they do it in season, off season? That's the question, pretty much. Yeah. Well, since you posed me a question, I'll pose you a question, because, in my opinion, the retro jerseys look fantastic. I think the NHL knocked it out of the park. So I guess I wanted to know what your opinion is on the retro jerseys, because I've been in love with them. I love the Blackhawks one. The Red Wings one is boring, but there's some really nice ones out there.
So I will say, when the retro jerseys were announced and we saw some of the earlier designs, especially designs like the Wild,
Yeah.
I was real skeptical on a lot of them. Especially the Wild. In fact, that's the one that pops in my head most. Like the color scheme just didn't seem to make sense to me.
Yeah.
But on the ice, they've all looked, well, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them have looked very good, including the Wild. I think though it's different enough without going too far as color schemes go that it's really like striking, which I feel like didn't come across when we saw like the initial model pictures or whatever. But I think they've been great. They've been a lot of fun. I'm still annoyed that Lou didn't just do the fish stick jersey. Come on. Like everybody on Long Island wanted the fish. Everybody wanted it. And instead we got the essentially the same jersey except a darker blue and a bigger like logo. Like who cares? But we'd like to see the fish sticks. Can't get it all.
Everyone wanted the fish stick.
I mean, like, yeah, I feel like Lou is just too serious to do it. But come on, man. Like,
I don't know why Lou gets to make that decision.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why is Lou the one that gets to decide whether you get to have fun or not?
I don't know.
I don't get it. If it's going to make you money, why is he the one making the decision? Just
could you imagine if the Islanders were doing something like the Storm Surge? He would die. He would be his death. He would just die. They'd have to bury him that day.
I think he'd jump to the ice. He would jump to the ice for sure.
Bag skate everybody after a win. That's what would happen.
Pretty much. Doesn't matter. Even the coach. The coach too. The owners are out there. The coach is out there. Everyone's getting bag skated. The ushers, everyone bag skates. Doesn't matter if you know how to skate.
So
okay, what's your next one?
We touched on this already briefly. The Trent Frederick Ovi spat. I don't know. Frederick, I don't even know if he qualifies as a rookie at this point because he has played a handful of games over a handful of seasons, but this may still be his quote-unquote rookie season. Anyway, I'm not actually sure what caused the initial kind of like dust up between the two of them, but he went after Ovi, shook him down a little bit, threw the gloves down, gave him the collar shake, and Ovi just stood there and stared at him. And then he like kind of shrugged and skated away from Ovi. And then later on in the game, Ovi speared him like hard in the nuts. And man, it's hard to say that's not a suspension-worthy offense. It's hard to say that.
He stared him down and was like, you know what? I'm just going to hit you in the nuts right now.
It's not like it was an accident.
Care.
They were standing completely still. It's not like he was like, I will spear him somewhere. He knew what he was doing. It came from underneath. You know what I mean? Like,
he 100% knew what he was doing.
So I feel like nothing's going to happen, and that's kind of like annoying and shows like such preference.
It seems like they announced today that he's going to get a suspension or not a suspension, sorry, a fine, and that's it. He was fined $5,000, which he can definitely afford, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't have Evander Kane's debt or anything.
Yeah. Just anyways, my next piece here is a little bit lighter than yours, kind of, but along the same exact thing. So I don't know if you saw it. You probably did. I feel like everyone saw this. So Binnington gets scored on. He gets pulled. And he tries to fight everyone on the ice.
Oh, yeah.
And then he gets down to the other side of the net, and it looks like he's about to go to after Dubnyk, and he realizes, oh, crap, actually, he's probably got like a good 5 inches on me and 40 pounds. He's like, yeah, I'm out.
He got his face shoved a little bit by Dubnyk. But
he did. He got the face shoved a little bit. My question to you is, what was your thought on that? I saw a lot of dividing opinions. The coach said that the league, like if you don't approve of it, it's like a snowflake. It's clearly like a snowflake league or something like that. It was just the dumbest thing. I'm fine with it, honestly. I thought it was funny. I thought he showed a lot of.
I talked about it on Monday in the episode.
Oh,
that
you did?
Were not here
I missed that.
But my take was less about whether it was good or not, but more about how Binnington for so long has talked about himself as this like really level-headed. It just reminds me of the interview, like the first interview when Binnington was playing so well. I think it was in the playoffs, actually, and a reporter was like, don't the nerves get to you? He's like, do I look nervous? And he's just like deadpan. And now like this, he's like just punching random people as he leaves the ice in anger. It's like,
there's a lot more going on down there than he gives on. Yeah.
But,
That was
you
just
know what?
funny, though.
I don't mind it. Like, whatever. It's not like he was out there hurting people. So
No. I'm totally fine with it.
my next one is Crosby went up on COVID protocol just long enough to make everybody panic a little bit. Got that COVID, and then because of I don't know what's going on with Yahoo this season, just marking people NA like randomly. I think Shesterkin is still marked NA, and he's I don't know.
I think I think so.
But so Crosby was marked, I think, out for like a second, and then marked NA, which is not applicable to IR plus. It's been a mess. So they put him on and then took him off before the game even started, and I guess they're being forced to announce or something. It seems weird that it even happened, to be honest. But yeah, little concerning. The same thing happened with who am I forgetting? Somebody. Well, it's been happening lately where they're getting basically false positives for a second, testing again, and coming back negative. But just another fun little COVID season quirk to deal with. Are they actually out or not?
I don't know why they've been so bad about that. It's weird to me.
I mean, they're probably. I'm assuming they're using rapid tests, which are not super reliable. Although they're supposed to, if you get a positive, they're supposed to be reliable that way. They're just not supposed to be reliable about negatives. So I don't know. I've got no answers. Yeah. I thought I did. I don't.
We never have answers.
We don't.
We have speculation. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
No answers for you. Only speculation. That's why you come here. My last one here, the Leafs look ridiculous. No Matthews, and they still just roll through everything. They just stomp on everyone.
Yep.
Full on stomping.
Although,
it's insane.
Yeah, Matthews, like, even in his 7 points, he gets no points. 7 goals scored in that game, he's not in any of them. That's funny.
Of course, because that's bound to happen every once in a while. It was still just crazy to see that I feel like the Leafs in the past have struggled with that, with the depth, and especially I think that now they're actually a team that can roll through people just with their depth. They don't need their superstars to be incredible to win. I think they actually have depth now to battle when their stars disappear a little bit.
It was a good time for Nylander to show up as well.
Yeah. It's going to be really important for the playoffs.
Yeah. I don't know. I still worry a bit about Toronto and teams that are not in that division, basically. Like, pick the best team from every other division. It's like, maybe they beat the Metro at this point, but do they beat Tampa? Do they beat Colorado? I don't know.
I don't know. Tampa's probably the hard one.
Colorado, man, they're super deep too.
They're deep. They're very deep.
But then, like the Bruins, of course. If I just mentioning the Bruins makes any Toronto fan shudder. So
I think the Bruins are the scariest team outside of the Lightning. I think they might be scarier than the Lightning. Maybe.
I don't know. They've been on and off.
I don't know. It depends on the day. Yeah, it depends on the day you catch them. But man, the Bruins are such a scary team.
Yeah. So if you were to take those 4, let's just assume they're the 4 that go through: Toronto, Boston, Tampa, Colorado. As much as I like Toronto, I think they're probably the weakest team.
I mean, you also have to include Vegas.
Obviously. Oh, Vegas, yes. Vegas or Colorado. I'm just assuming that Colorado wins. I don't know. It's probably fairly close between the two, I guess. But
man, I don't know. Maybe they are the 4th.
I mean, I think they are probably the strongest offensively, but I'm still not convinced that they'll be able to put up with just a team that can stifle their offense enough to just pound their defense. Yeah. So we'll see.
It's true. Can't disagree with that.
Yeah. My last take here is Zac Parise was scratched for the first time since his rookie season in 2005.
It's wild.
2005. He's never been scratched. Healthy scratched, of course. But you may remember this better than I do. He put out a statement about it, I think.
Yeah.
He was attempting to give a hat trick to Marcus Foligno and blew the pass, and then it went back for a goal against instead of just taking the easy empty netter.
Yep. Instead of taking the easy empty netter, he waited. Marcus Foligno had come on for a line change, so he was going to wait for Marcus Foligno to join him on the rush. And then, it all went to hell.
Yep.
And
so
the team said they
he
stood
got
by him
scratched
like
for being
players.
too good a guy. That's what happened.
Yeah.
But
Although,
I understand the scratch, and I also understand why he did what he did. But I actually don't know if I understand the scratch. Like, whatever. It was pretty obvious what was happening.
Here's the thing: is like
moment.
He chose that over winning, which is where it's like,
yeah, but did he?
I kind of get it. He did. You put that empty netter away and you win the game.
Yeah.
Granted, like you can't guarantee that happens every time. We wouldn't even be talking about this if they don't lose that game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that, we don't even talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, I think you still need to send a message that like, look, I support you. That's fine, but like you need to be out there to win. You can't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think it sends a message to everybody else that, and I think it's, and that's what he said in his statement or whatever it was. He pretty much said, look, the team supports me and he understands. So I think you can scratch him and still keep that goodwill with the team in a way that's productive. Mm-hmm. Now, if he just like railed on Parise and told him that was the wrong thing to do, then I think as a fellow teammate, I'd be pretty pissed. But yeah. Anyways,
well,
that is that.
Shall we move into the weekend stuff?
Yeah, let's talk about some players to pick up. So Saturday and Sunday are not off. The only off night is Friday this week, actually.
Yeah. Sunday's fairly light, though. I think there's only 8 games.
It's fairly light, but
Saturday's actually
not bad.
It's not great, but it's not horrible for a Saturday. I think it's 12 games. It's actually kind of bad.
Yeah, it's not great. So I tried to come up with suggestions to some people that I like that have 2 games and have pretty good matchups, in my opinion. So my first one is going to be Oliver Wahlstrom out of left field. 6% owned, right wing on the New York Islanders. He just ended a 5-game point streak, but I mean, he's still shown he's capable of putting in points, and they play Buffalo twice this weekend. If there's a team that he's going to get points against or have a chance to get points against, it's going to be Buffalo.
Yeah, everybody gets points against Buffalo.
Yeah.
My first one is Nick Richie.
Of course.
29% owned. I think people are kind of souring on him a bit because he hasn't been lighting it up over the last handful of games. I am very not worried about him. He's still putting in peripherals. He's still playing power play 1. His minutes are good when he's not getting into a fight, then taking 2 other penalties anyway.
Yeah.
And like once again, we've seen things shift around in Boston. He continues to maintain good deployment, namely the return of Krejci, which bumped Coyle down to line 3. Richie stays where he is. DeBrusque moved up to the top or to the second right wing. Things move all around, but he winds up staying with his deployment, which I think is a good sign in general for him.
Agreed. Although I will say I like him a little bit less than I did just like a week or 2 ago. I don't know. I just don't feel as confident in it.
I like him about the same. I mean, he was always doing a little bit too much, but I like him as a power play point. I like him as a mini Hortquist.
So my next one is also a Quist. Oscar Sundquist.
Mm-hmm.
They play LA twice this weekend.
Sundquist
something is
pretty good lately.
What?
He's got a good line.
And he's on the top power play.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been killing it. He had 2 power play points against Anaheim yesterday. 1 power play point the night before that. He's been really, really good as of late. Nothing to do. He's a points guy. Points guy only. Don't worry about it in Cats leagues unless what you've got to make up is points. He doesn't do anything in the shot department. If you need hits, actually, he's good in the hit department, but that's about it. So it's hits and points, and that's it. But he's 3% owned, center right wing. He could give you some options, especially in deeper leagues this week. And, I mean, it's LA, who, granted, has been good, but it's LA. I'm still not buying it fully.
Yeah. My next one is Alex Calloran, right wing, 17%. He's playing on the line with Cirelli and Stamkos in his power play 1. He hasn't been super hot lately, but and they're playing. Actually, they're currently playing Chicago right now, and losing 2-0. But still, they think they play Chicago 2 more times, and I still think that he's at 17% a pretty good option compared to the field. I think there's upside there considering playing with Stamkos now at even strength and on top power play, even if for whatever reason they haven't figured it out just yet.
Yeah. My last one, this is actually going to be a shocking one for me because I never in my right mind thought I'd be suggesting this guy. He is blacklisted in my head, and he's now back into the fold for me right now, and that's Cam Fowler.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's been lights out as of late, shooting the puck quite a bit for what is normally a Cam Fowler shot night. He's also on a 5-game point streak at the moment. Yeah, quite a few points in there too. I think he has 8 points in 5 games. So he is on fire right now. They play Colorado twice this weekend. Maybe there's no McKinnon. Who knows? Possible. So Cam Fowler to me is a really good option. And on top of that, if he just turns into an option in general, which is possible, just because of all the off nights, especially in deeper leagues, only 5% rostered. So you're getting in pretty early. I picked him up in my points league because of just the point upside there. And because there's not that many people in Anaheim that can do things. I mean, there's Comtois, there's Seagrass, maybe, even though I don't like him as much. There's Raquel, Getzlaff. So Fowler is really like the only defenseman, and Shattenkirk's not really doing much. So to me, my favorite defenseman for the weekend has got to be Cam Fowler.
I've got a Boston defenseman for you, Matt Grislick.
I knew it.
21%.
I
don't really like him
that.
in Cats leagues, although I don't like Fowler in Cats leagues either. But in points leagues, I don't know, man. He's top power play in Boston. We've seen some flashes. He's going to get hurt again probably. I just don't. How can we trust him to be healthy for any period of time at this point? But
I know.
He's not somebody I'm necessarily looking for. But if I was in a points league, I would probably just do it again. Like, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
And then I've got...
Also, Ekblad. Oh.
Yeah, Ekblad's getting
3-point night. Let's go.
I've got one more. And I'm guessing here because so far Vegas hasn't played like anybody except for Fleury and net. But they do have a back-to-back against San Jose coming up. You got to imagine they got to rest Fleury at some point. Assuming that Leonard's not ready to go, I think Oscar Dansk is going to get a start against San Jose. And he is 0% owned. So if you are in a points league that values a win a lot, I think that's a great opportunity to pick up Dansk on probably Saturday. Then maybe swap him out again for somebody else on Sunday. Or if you're just trailing and need the outside shot that he has a very good game in general against a team that has been kind of not good, then
kind of
he makes for a decent option there as well. Yeah. But they might just play Fleury back to back and just run him until his wheels fall off completely.
Very possible. I mean, they've done it before.
They have done it before.
They have. Well, there you go. That is the weekend preview. Hope you enjoyed. Let us know what you think about the suggestions. Maybe you have some more that you can let other people know in the comments below. And other than that, we will catch you for the week preview on Sunday. Thank you for listening.
Yep. Thanks for listening.